What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 67, and we start today's episode off back in the Premier League as we will take on Huddersfield Town here away at the Kirklees Stadium, returning from Portugal on Thursday night where we beat Guimarães in our third Europa League group stage game. Now back to league matters and domestic football and taking on the Terriers, a newly promoted side for the Premier League in Season 4 who, unfortunately, just like back in Season 2 when they were in the top flight, have had a really tough return to life in the top tier of English football. If you remember back in Season 2, they finished the season off with a record low for Premier League points of, I think it was 5, perhaps 6, perhaps 7 points. It was a record low for points regardless in a Premier League season. They bounced back though last season, now back in the top tier. However, once again, they're really struggling. 9 games in, rock bottom of the table, not a single point picked up so far. And on the back of that win in Thursday night, it has been a pretty tough start for us in the Premier League ourselves this year. However, our last Premier League game, a win against Aston Villa, it's now back-to-back wins in all competitions, and whilst our last away game in the Premier League was a loss at Old Trafford, I was determined to make sure we wouldn't let Huddersfield pick up their first Premier League points against us this season. And just 13 minutes in, we will break the deadlock. I felt sorry for the goalkeeper Schofield though. It was a wonderful run by Shaw down left-hand side, and what a ball as well. Some of you guys have noticed, his crosses are just ridiculously accurate. Picks out Eze in the centre, who gets his second goal of the Premier League season already. Schofield was so unlucky not to save it though, got a strong hand on it, just couldn't keep it out. But 1-0 to the Blades, and it should have been 2-0 just a few minutes later. Calvert-Lewin spurning his chance to get his first goal since returning from injury, but still leading by 1. Most of our play coming down left-hand side, and this man, Eze, really was at the heart of everything. Lovely run down left, stops, plays it through, and who's there to turn it in? It's Barry Walsh. Go on, young man, getting his first goal of the season. I love the goal as well, the way he just composed, just took it out of his mouth with a composed first touch and smashed it at the near post. 2-0 to the Blades, and after that the Terriers just collapsed really. Just a few minutes later, Shaw gave Carraro the run around. All our play was coming down left hand side, dinks it to the back stick. Calvert-Lewin hits the crossbar, but Ivan Toney is on hand to turn in the rebound, and that right there was a sign of mentality really. We were looking fresher and hungrier despite the fact we played on Thursday night, and the Terriers at this point had already switched off really even before the break with 3 minutes to go in the first half. Header hits the bar from Calvert-Lewin, but look at Ivan Toney's alert reaction here, just to chase the ball down. The Terriers just a little bit too slow to react to that one. Toney certainly wasn't. 3-0 to the Blades, and his third goal in 2 for Ivan Toney in the Premier League. So leading by 3 at the break, and in the second half we just continue to stay in attack mode and continue to stay aggressive. As Jaden Bogle is the wagon finds Barry Walsh down the right hand side here. Thought I'd switch the play out from left to right in the second half, but the crosses continue to be as accurate as you could get them. What a ball by Barry Walsh, gets an assist to his goal as well. I believe that's already his 3rd or perhaps 4th assist in the Premier League this year. He's having a brilliant start to his sophomore year in professional football, Walsh. Great ball. Tony's on hand to bag his brace. That's 4 goals in 2 games in the Premier League, and as we continue to stay in attack mode, 62 minutes in, I mean, this was just such a wonderful little goal with Tony chasing the hat-trick. Oh yeah, that's what I want to see. Ivan going for the match ball and his first hat-trick of the season. Last year, Premier League record breaker with 40 goals, but Tony is still a team player and says it might be my time to get the hat-trick, but no, instead I see Jamal Lewis coming forward. Hasn't scored a goal yet this season. Let me just roll it through to my bro there as he can make it 5-0. Great awareness from Ivan Toney and team spirit as well. So 5-0 to the Blades. Lovely team goal, that one as well. Nice passing move. And in the 85th minute, I thought we got ourselves a 6th goal as well. Calvert-Lewin found Lewis into Toney. Wonderful passing once again into Eze. But sadly, this guy, I mean, we call Ivan Toney the shocker. I think we should call Eze the disallowed goal man, because that's his 3rd disallowed goal since we signed him last January. It seems like this guy, if we put the ball in the back of the net and the flag goes up, the man that was responsible for being in the offside position was Eze. Sadly denied his brace by the linesman's flag. Didn't need the VAR for that one though. He was clearly offside, and that was how the game would finish. Not 6-0 but 5-0 in the end, and after a win like that, everyone's got to share the champagne. I mean, Tony ended up with the highest rating, but I offered him the bottle in the dressing room, and he just said, no, Gaffer, get 11 glasses, I'm pouring this one out on my bros. Fantastic team win, that one, and again, that 5th goal was just lovely, and in general, all the goals were lovely. I mean, the crosses were superb, the defence was stellar right from the first whistle. In general, we should have won that game by 7 or 8 goals, really. We should have been looking for a new Premier League record for goals. Had my finishing been better, we probably would have done. Either way, not going to complain about a 5-0 scoreline. Very good win there, and now 3 wins in 3 in all competitions, 3 clean sheets in 3 in all competitions, and finally, after quite a tough start, I do feel like we are getting back to our best and playing the Sheffield United way. But following a big victory on the weekend, we would now return to Bramwell Lane on Wednesday night for a midweek clash here against Stoke City in the EFL Cup 4th round. But as you can see by this, well, I don't even know if I can call it a highlights package. This incredibly quick game here, we lost by a goal to nil, and to be honest, I wasn't really fussed either. You would have seen the lineup pre-game. It was a fully rotated starting 11 and bench, and we are out of the EFL Cup in the 4th round and exit the competition there after making it through rounds 2 and 3. And you might wonder why I was very quick to get through that game, and it's a very simple reason. I use this saying quite often in my career modes, but we've got bigger fish to fry, and that's why I'm not worried about going out of the competition there and seeing our win streak end at 3, because the fact of the matter is this year we're in the Europa League. We're in European football for the first time ever. We're way more focused on that. We've got the FA Cup to come around in January, and this season we've got ambitions of reaching Wembley and getting to the semi-finals for the first time in the series. And in the Premier League, the board have asked us to reach the top 4 and qualify for the Champions League next year. Fact of the matter is, the EFL Cup, regardless of what round we're in, we're always going to field a weakened side for it, because again, we've got bigger fish to fry, and to be honest, we could do without the extra game in the calendar as well for fixture congestion. So totally fine, we're out, Stoke go through, and again, I wasn't really one bit fussed. But regardless, following out a much bigger game here on the weekend, remaining at Bramwell Lane, we're now taking on Bournemouth, welcoming a newly promoted side to Yorkshire here, and taking on Eddie Howe's Cherries, back up from the Championship after a successful year in the second tier of English football last season. They almost went in front early on in the game, ahead of hitting the crossbar, and then Tony drilling a one-on-one chance wide directly afterwards. Still tied at 0-0 at the break, looking to break the deadlock in the second half, and I was so pleased to see this as well. 8 minutes after the restart, we would get ourselves in front after quite a cagey first 45 minutes, and the man who got the goal, DCL, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Yes, great to see it. Calvert-Lewin, of course, he picked up that injury in the game against Borussia Mönchengladbach in the Europa League about 4 or 5 weeks ago now. Gets his first goal in the Premier League since returning from that injury, and then he didn't stop there as well. Just past the hour mark, bags his brace too. Lovely little cross by Jayden Bogle down the right-hand side into the middle. Calvert-Lewin volleys it home. 2-0 to Sheffield United, and in stoppage time, Barry Walsh almost scored a sensational goal here to make it 3 and get his second goal in 2. Fired a shot over the bar, but that was how the game would finish. 2-0 to the Blades, and back to winning ways on the back of that defeat in midweek. But once again, this is why I didn't care about the EFL Cup, because, you know, the Premier League this year, the board have said reach the top 4. I don't know whether we can do that, but if we are going to do that, we can't fight on 4 fronts this year. You know, in the Europa League, we've got to reach the semi-finals, lest we forget as well. So we've got to really prioritise that competition as well. Not to mention when the FA Cup comes around, I said it earlier, we want to reach the semi-finals this year of the FA Cup. We can't fight on 4 fronts in just our 4th year, because we haven't got a thick enough squad in terms of quality and depth to be able to do that. So we wasn't fussed about the Stoke loss. All I cared about was winning on the weekend against Bournemouth, getting those 3 points, and that's exactly what we got. So yeah, delighted with the 2-0 victory. Great to see Dean get another clean sheet after a tough start for him defensively this season. We've been leaking quite a few goals. Great to see him get another one there. And following that, the English FA came to me and said, would you stay on as national team manager? Of course I was going to say yeah. We had a successful World Cup in the summer. It did end in tears, of course, after being knocked out by Argentina in extra time in the semi-finals. No shame in losing to the eventual winners though. Argentina, of course, won it in the end. They won the World Cup. We, of course, finished in 3rd place, beating Spain in the playoffs. So we went one step further, technically, than we did 4 years ago. So the English FA were pleased with what we did in the World Cup, and said, would you stay on for the Euro qualifiers and try and get us to the Euro 2024? And of course, I said yes. Right now, 3 wins from 4, only behind Portugal in our qualifying group right now. I believe if we win our next 3 or perhaps 4 games, we'll guarantee a place in Euro 2024, where once again we'll be asked to reach the quarterfinals, but we'll be targeting a semi-final place. And following that, our first scout report as well from our scouts based in Italy, United States, and England as well. Nobody making our academy from the first batch of scouting. We'll continue scouting on quite a few of those players though. Anyway, for the 4th and final game of today's episode, remaining at Bramwell Lane for the 3rd consecutive game, now taking on Guimar Reyes here, the Portuguese side, looking to make it 4 wins from 4 in the Europa League. And if we were to win this game, we would guarantee a place in the knockout stage with 2 games to spare. That's what we wanted to do heading into the game. Get ourselves the luxury of knowing in the final 2 games, regardless of what happens, we'll be playing knockout football. And just 10 minutes in, what a signing this guy has been. 2nd most expensive signing, but Alfredo Morelos really has been superb. Makes it 1-0. But just 10 minutes later, how about this? Dean Henderson, 99 IQ. Quick long kick after saving a shot. Morelos runs onto it, and let's now call him Dean Paulo Gazzaniga Henderson from here on out, because we've got a goalkeeper assist for the first time in so long as Henderson runs on the pitch to celebrate with Morelos. I wanted him to celebrate with Dean, but the Colombian just started running away when he got close to him, but Morelos makes it 2, and Dean Henderson gets a goalkeeper assist with such an intelligent and accurate kick. That was amazing. He read the scout report pre-game, because in a previous career mode, I had Pedro Enrique in my team. He's a Brazilian centre-half playing for Guimar Reyes in this career mode here, and he was in a real mix-up here in the 26th minute and almost cost his side another goal there. Good save with the goalkeeper, bailed him out. It was still 2-0, but I had Pedro Enrique in a former career mode once, and this guy was really slow. Very strong, very big, but really slow. Dean read the scouting report. He read the scouting report pre-game. He knew that Pedro Enrique was slow, so as soon as he got the ball, he looked up, quickly kicked it long. Morelos ran onto it, rounded the last man, and made it 2-0, and that was how the game would finish as well. Dean with a great save towards the end of the game as well to preserve his clean sheet. Back-to-back wins for the Blaze, back-to-back clean sheets as well. But for Dean, absolutely buzzing. A goalkeeper assist. The IQ of Dean there to quickly look up after making the save, not just hold onto the ball, and the accurate kick as well from Morelos to run onto. That was amazing. Had to give him man the match for that, despite Morelos' 2 goals, ensuring we would get the win, and that now means, courtesy of Dean and Alfredo, 4 wins from 4, 12 goals scored, none conceded in our first 4 in the Europa League, 12 points on the board, and of course, the luxury of knowing now we have guaranteed a place in the knockout stages of the Europa League. But that will end today's episode of Career Mode, guys, so a big thank you for watching. We hope you have enjoyed it. If you did enjoy today's episode, then please drop a like. Much love to you all, and I'll see you for the next episode of Career Mode very soon.